Support Wrestle Talk!
Give us a subscribe. Someone won in their hometown. A huge title change and the Shield reunite. I'm Ollie Davis and this is the SummerSlam pre-show. Credit to @Daily on Twitter for that gag. Edition of Monday Night Raw in about 4 minutes. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose open the show, with the Architect once again offering Dean his fist. Giggity. Only for Ambrose to leave him hanging. The sexual tension, lack of trust in their relationship, was eventually too much to bear, and the two started beating each other up. Never one to pass on a bundle. Sheamus and Cesaro ran down to join in, prompting Rollins and Ambrose to unite against the tag team champions. In a fantastic moment afterwards, both Dean and Seth finally did the fist bump to a huge feel-good reaction. It was a cracking way to start Raw, whipping the already hot Boston crowd into a frenzy. Kurt Angle then made a tag team championship match between them for SummerSlam. Speaking of Boston, hometown girl Sasha Banks took on Nia Jax for the women's #1 contendership next, with Alexa Bliss watching on from a lifeguard chair. A decade and a half ago, she would have been in a Baywatch outfit. Sasha got another very enjoyable match out of Jax, making Nia tap in a great finish. A hometown wrestler won and got over like a star. What a novel concept. Elias was singing his new Boston-inspired hit when R-Truth interrupted to repeatedly ask, "What is up?" I'll tell you what isn't up, R-Truth. Your magically disappeared blood feud with Goldust. The Boston crowd wouldn't let Big Cass speak, their boos drowning him out tonight after WrestleMania Roman Reigns levels. He dealt with it very well though, still cutting an impassioned heel promo on both Boston and Enzo Amore. When Amore came out with Big Show, they got jumped by Gallows and Anderson of all people. Anderson held them down while Cass injured Big Show's knockout fist. This was a solid angle going into a mid-card feud after weeks of repetitive build, helped enormously by the crowd. Initially, moving Akira Tozawa versus Neville to Raw seemed like a stroke of genius, a smart way to reduce SummerSlam's overstacked card. Neville will retain, the feud will end, and new storylines can begin next week. But that's not what happened. Instead, Tozawa beat Neville in a very good back and forth match. It provided a feel-good moment with Titus Worldwide celebrating in the ring, but in the grander scheme, this was an incredibly limp ending to Neville's brilliant 6-month title reign. And after all that, we're getting the match at SummerSlam again anyway, with Neville invoking his rematch clause for this Sunday. It's another example of WWE's backward booking, having a match to build to the exact same match. Which brings us to Bray Wyatt beating Finn Balor clean to set up another Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor match in 6 days' time. After scuffling backstage, Angle brought their SummerSlam fight forward to Raw. Hooray! One less match for SummerSlam. But after a decent enough TV bout, with Wyatt pinning Balor clean, the feud continued. Bray hit a second Sister Abigail and then poured a bucket of Eric Rowan's hair dye over Finn. Enraged, Balor demanded a SummerSlam rematch, teasing bringing back the Demon. If the whole purpose of this was to set up the Demon's return, then why not just do it in an angle rather than playing the match out with a definitive ending less than a week before the pay-per-view? Doing nothing to quell the third-hour lull, WWE then put on Mickie James beating Emma. Hashtag you gave Emma the wrong chance. The Miz and Jason Jordan quickly became a 6-man tag, with Jordan and the Hardy Boys beating the Miztourage, which mainly involved Jeff Hardy landing full force on Bo Dallas's chest. The main event saw each of the 4 SummerSlam Universal title competitors coming down for a face-to-face. Paul Heyman reiterated that Brock Lesnar will leave WWE if he loses the title. He'll be so mad if he does, you might want to lock him up in a cage, hint hint. A very thinly veiled reference to Brock's potential UFC return. It all felt like a build to a real fight for a moment there, until the standard wrestling formula of entrance music interrupting entrance music sent the segment into autopilot, furthering the copy copy and paste template, Raw then reused the security guard and mid-card locker room gimmick of keeping the wrestlers apart. Awesome when it was done a month or two ago, but this was too soon for the visual to be repeated. So that was this week's Raw in about 4 minutes. Here's the usual ratings recap from top to bottom in all core, average, poor and bore. I'll reveal my rating very shortly, but first, vote in the poll above my head to give yours. I'll announce the results in tomorrow's Wrestle Talk news. This episode of Raw was on course to be an in-awe after the first hour, but then WWE indulged in their backwards booking of repetitive matches with Tozawa versus Neville and Wyatt versus Balor. That said, this was still an exciting SummerSlam go-home show that felt like a big deal. This week's Raw is core. Alberto El Patron has been stripped of the GFW/TNA World Championship. And has John Cena's Raw return been leaked? Click the videos to the left to find out, press subscribe and support Wrestle Talk on Patreon. I've been Ollie Davis and that was wrestling.